All right, let's dive into one of the most important topics in PHP, object-oriented programming. If you're looking to go from writing simple scripts to building really solid, scalable applications, well, this is the way of thinking you absolutely need to get your head around.
And let's start with this. This really gets to the heart of it. Object-oriented programming, or OOP, isn't just a new set of commands to memorize. It's a totally different approach, a way to tame the complexity that comes with any serious software project.
In our last explainer, we talked all about databases and giving your data a proper structure. Now we're going to apply that exact same thinking to our code itself. We're moving away from just a long list of instructions to a well-organized system of components that all work together.
So, where does this journey begin? It all starts with the two most fundamental building blocks in the entire OOP world: classes and objects.
The best way to think about this is with a blueprint. A class is like an architect's blueprint for a house. It has all the plans, how many bedrooms, where the windows go, all of it. An object, that's the actual house you build from that blueprint. And you can build a ton of houses from that one blueprint, right? Each one is its own separate object. So what's inside this blueprint? It really boils down to two key things. First, you've got properties. These are just variables that hold the data, like a car's color or its top speed. Then you've got methods. These are the functions that define what the object can do, like a method to start the engine. And here's what that looks like in some simple code. We define our simple class. Inside it, that $var is our property. The function displayVar is our method. And see that special $this keyword? That's super important. It's how an object refers to itself. It's how the displayVar method can grab its own $var property. I love this analogy. With older procedural code, you're basically writing a story from beginning to end. But with OOP, you're a world builder. You create the laws of physics and the rules of your universe. Those are your classes. And then you fill that world with characters and items, your objects, that have to follow those rules. Now, classes also have some special magic methods. The one you'll see all the time is the constructor, __ construct. Think of it as a setup function that runs the very moment you create a new object. And on the flip side, you have __ destruct, which runs automatically when the object is finished with, which is perfect for any cleanup you need to do.
Okay, so we've got these blueprints. The next logical question is who gets to use them and how? This brings us to a really crucial idea: defining boundaries in our code.
This is the big question that access control is designed to answer. Should just any piece of code be able to reach in and change the engine in our car object? Probably not, right? OOP gives us the tools we need to make those decisions.
And here are those tools. These keywords control who gets to see what. If you mark something as public, it's a total free-for-all. Anything can access it. Protected is a bit stricter. It's available to the class itself and any other classes that inherit from it. And private is like a bank vault. It can only be accessed from right inside the class it defined.
But what about when you have a piece of data that doesn't really belong to a single object, but to the blueprint itself? That's what static members are for. You can access them directly on the class without ever creating an object. A perfect example would be a counter that keeps track of how many car objects have been made in total.
And this is the real takeaway here. Using private or protected isn't just for security, it's about communicating your intent. You're basically putting up a sign for other developers that says, hey, this part is for internal use only. Please don't touch it directly. Use the public methods I gave you because that's the safe and stable way to work with this.
Objects rarely live in a vacuum. The real magic of OOP happens when we start building relationships between our classes. This is where we get into some serious code reuse and amazing flexibility.
Inheritance is exactly what it sounds like. A child class can inherit everything from a parent class. So you could have a generic vehicle class, right? Then a car class and a motorcycle class could both extend vehicle. They'd automatically get all the basic vehicle stuff, saving you from writing it over and over.
And the way you do it is super simple. You just use the extends keyword. Just like that. Extend class is now a child of simple class. It gets all of its parents' features and it can add its own new stuff, or even change how the parents' methods work.
Okay, now building on top of that, we get to polymorphism. It's a big word that just means many forms, and it's an incredibly powerful idea. It means you can have totally different objects, say a dog and a cat, that both have a make sound method. When you tell each of them to make sound, the dog barks and the cat meows. It's the same command, but you get a different result depending on the object.
So here's the dead simple way to keep them straight. Inheritance is all about sharing a common structure. Polymorphism is all about sharing a common behavior, even if the details of that behavior are completely different for each object. The things we've just covered are the absolute foundation. But modern PHP has a whole toolbox of other powerful concepts that build on these principles. Let's just take a quick peek. So, two advanced ways to define structure are abstract classes and interfaces. An abstract class is kind of like a partial blueprint. It can give you some methods that already work, but it forces its child classes to fill in the blanks on others. An interface, though, is a strict contract. It says any class that uses me must have these specific methods, but it provides zero code for how they should work. It's all about guaranteeing a certain capability. But what if you need to share a bit of code between classes that aren't related at all? That's the exact problem that traits solve. A trait is basically a little bundle of methods that you can just drop into any class you want. It's like having a set of tools you can give to anyone, regardless of their family tree. And finally, there's a whole world of other concepts to explore later on. Namespaces help keep your code organized and stop class names from colliding in big projects. There are more magic methods that let you do some really cool things, and design patterns like dependency injection are absolutely essential for writing clean, testable code. We won't go deep now, but definitely keep these on your radar.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's this. With object-oriented programming, you're not just writing scripts anymore. You're designing and building entire systems.
You've definitely grasped the core ideas of OOP now, so let's go ahead and place this checkpoint on our roadmap. Now that you understand how PHP's object system works, it's time to see how these principles are used to build the entire modern PHP ecosystem. In our next explainer, we'll look at the frameworks and tools that bring all this to life. Continue your journey with developer roadmaps. Map your path. Build your career.